This is Standing Watch. And now, Evangelist Norbert Link.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to our Standing Watch program. America is divided as never before in recent history. Some are claiming that the end of the American empire has come, and that the United States of America is no longer united. It also has been pointed out that rather than making America great again and being respected by other countries, America has become a country of scorn, of ridicule. People are despising the United States of America. They reject what is happening in this country. Let's go through a list, and I'm not at all saying that that list is exclusive and that there are no other items which could be mentioned, but I'd like to just list a few things in no particular order. Let's start with the current immigration policy. Talking about rates of undocumented aliens, meaning those who have come into this country illegally or who have overstayed their visa. We're not talking about hardened, convicted criminals or those who have come out of mental asylums. Those rates are mainly directed towards anybody who is here without papers. Now, this was not the promise which was given originally. Originally, we were told that the policy would only be directed against hardcore criminals, and others might just be collateral damage. But that is not what is happening right now. And it's destroying the American economy. Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller are largely responsible for these very strong actions, and they stood up towards Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins, who talked to Trump and said, going after the farmers, going after hotel owners, restaurant owners, is destroying them. Because, they cannot have the workers they need. They see those rates, they walk away, run away as quick as they can. And Trump understood that. And so he made an order saying, okay, let's not go after those farmers and those hotel and restaurant owners. But then, as I said, Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller went to Trump and said, no, we have to go after them. And so he reversed his policy again. Now, many Republicans, most Americans, do not approve of the way Trump is handling immigration raids. And that, of course, contributes to the division of the country. You've all seen, I'm sure, videos where a California senator was arrested, where a person who is running for mayor in New York was arrested, where a threat was made to arrest California Governor Gavin Newsom. And Trump even said if he was the one in charge when it comes to those arrests, he would do it. Can we see how this is dividing the country? Some say, yeah, but the California senator, for instance, he provoked it. Whatever the case may be, it's dividing the country. MAGA, Make America Great Again, is in deep disarray over potential U.S. involvement in the Israel-Iran war. The idea is, Trump has said when he was running for president that he would not get engaged in any foreign wars. And so Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson reminded him of that. Now, these are normally very supportive persons when it comes to Trump, but they stood up to him and said, no, you have promised that there would be no foreign wars. You talked about the end of foreign wars, and now you are thinking in terms of getting involved actively in the Israel-Iran war. Now, of course, you have the hardliners on the other side, the hawks, And they are pushing for America getting actively involved. And that is when Tucker Carlson said he is looking at America and he is saying it's the end of the American empire. He also said that the Republicans will lose in the upcoming midterm elections. Now we'll have to see how that is going to play out. Israel was condemned for its attack by most Arab nations, including Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Jordan, and Turkey. Now, if you look at Psalm 83, you find a list of countries which are coming together to fight Israel, who want to destroy Israel, wipe Israel off the map. And these countries in Psalm 83 are just those, amongst others, whom I have just mentioned. What does this mean? It means the Abraham Accords are dead. They are no longer of any consequence. And of course, the Bible does tell us that ultimately Saudi Arabia and Turkey and others will fight against Israel and possibly the United States of America. If you want to know more about the future of Iran, we have prepared a free booklet about the African and Middle Eastern nations in biblical prophecy, and I would recommend that you order this booklet and read especially the chapter about Iran, which you will find in that booklet. Now then we have the big beautiful bill. It was so big and beautiful that Elon Musk strongly opposed it, talking about huge additional debt. But he wasn't the only one opposing it. Others do too, because they say, well, Trump ran because he said he's going to reduce the national debt, and now this bill is going to increase it even. Now Trump is saying, yeah, but there are lots of tax deductions in it. Whatever the case may be, it again divides the country. It even divides the Republican Party. And so some have strongly objected to the military parade, which happened last Sabbath, I might add, saying it was a ridiculous amount of costs, $46 million, and that doesn't even include other costs which have to be added to it. And so people like Rand Paul and John Kennedy felt that the cost didn't justify the parade. In addition, of course, Rand Paul said, well, we have never in the past glorified weapons. When we had parades, it was to celebrate the end of a war and the fact that soldiers came home. So that's dividing the Republican Party, and of course, it divides the country. And it has not escaped many Americans that those who are strong supporters of Trump today had totally different viewpoints in the past. And I'm specifically talking about Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance, amongst others. And so the question is being asked, well, what happened? What happened to that original viewpoint they have had on many issues? Let's talk about Trump's never-ending tariffs policy, which has caused all kinds of consternation, of uncertainty. There is the idea that tariffs are going to be imposed in a certain amount, and then they are being delayed, and then they're being put on hold, and then the amounts change, and then we want to have some great deals. And now it was announced that a great deal was made between America and Britain, and when the paper was handed to Trump, he dropped it on the floor, if you saw that video, and the reaction of the Prime Minister of Italy was quite interesting. But only 4% of British companies are saying, oh, we are going to kind of invest in America, or we are going to manufacture anything in America. Only 4%. So the deal has really done nothing to the economy of the United States, that's for sure. It will damage the US economy, and of course consumers will pay. They are the ones who are going to pay. There are going to be higher prices, and that is inevitable, and that is something which has been stated from the outset. Now, voters, especially the independents, find themselves between a rock and a hard place. I'm saying especially independents because mostly Republicans will vote for Republicans and Democrats will vote for Democrats no matter what. But the key element here are the independents. You see, they see the right-wing media refusing to run any critical programs about Trump, while the left-wing media seems to run nothing but critical programs on Trump. But they remember how the left-wing media covered up the mental and physical disability of Joe Biden with the support of Kamala Harris. And there's no doubt about the fact that the Democratic Party is in disarray, is completely disunited, and they are looking for a leader. And it appears like they're now looking for Gavin Newsom as their new leader. But independents in particular remember that Gavin Newsom acted as an absolute and total dictator and autocrat, enacting laws during the corona pandemic which destroyed the liberties and the freedoms of the American people, especially in California, of course, but others did the same. But he acted also as a hypocrite, because he didn't even follow these laws which he had enacted contrary to them. And religious association, freedom of speech, and so on were done away with. But he was out there in a restaurant with other people having a nice dinner, whereas he had told everybody, you must not do that. Now, Trump does rule by executive order. And the question is, can he even declare war on Iran, if that's what he's going to do, without congressional approval? Can he mobilize the National Guards and the brigades without congressional approval or without a request by the state governor? And the order he gave is not limited just to Los Angeles or California. It is directed towards all states in the United States of America. And of course, this has caused a lot of unrest. Cases are pending in front of the courts. We have to wait and see how the courts will decide, but ultimately it doesn't matter because the division is already there no matter what the courts will say about it. And so we are being told that more than 5 million people demonstrated last Saturday against Trump's rule as king. No more kings was the slogan. More than 5 million. That's quite a number of people. And then you have the Spanish people, and many of them will not vote for Republicans during the midterm elections. Now, they did vote for Republicans and President Trump in the past, but due to the immigration policy, I think that things have changed. And then let's talk about Trump's travel bans, where people from I don't know how many countries now are prohibited from coming to the United States or will be prohibited from coming to the United States. And then let's look at the conduct at the airport where people who are coming here legally, tourists, are being mistreated. You have probably heard lots of reports on that one. And so the message is clear to those who want to come to America, even if it is a visit, you are not welcome here. And so we are observing an interesting development. Many people now are saying, okay, we're not going to go to America to have holidays there, we're going somewhere else. And so they are looking at other places. And the result is the American economy is again being damaged through that kind of conduct. The more Trump is going to be criticized, the more he is determined to follow his agenda, no matter how unpopular it may be in certain circles. Why is that so? Because he believes that he is on a mission from God, and that he has to do what he feels is right. He also feels that he has been protected by God when it came to assassination attempts, and I actually believe that is true. And Trump has a role to fulfill. But as we have said for so many years now, the role includes contributing to the utter downfall of the United States of America, which is prophesied in your Bible. Violence will increase, disunity will increase, the end of the American empire is coming. Thank you very much for listening. This is Norbert Link for the Standing Watch program.
Standing Watch is a presentation by The Church of the Eternal God, P.O. Box 270519, San Diego, California 92198. More information is also available at our website, eternalgod.org.